Hello everyone. So in this video let us discuss about the phylum Chordata. Okay, so we have completed the non-chordate phylums. So let us begin with the phylum Chordata. So the phylum Chordata, it is the second largest phylum. It means the next to Arthropoda, the Arthropoda that comprises large number of animals. So for example, like among 10 animals, so nearly around 7 animals which belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. Hence that is considered as the largest animal phylum, that is the Arthropoda. And the next one is about the phylum Chordata, that nearly includes around 48,000 species and which are found in various possible habitats, like the animals of the phylum Chordata. So they may be aquatic in nature. It means they are found in water, whether it is fresh water or it may be the marine water forms, or they may be aerial in nature. They may be aerial. It means they are flying in the air like the birds, and they may be terrestrial in nature. Okay, so almost all possible habitats on the earth's surface, they were occupied by the members of Chordata. Okay, so the most common animals belongs to this phylum, that is like the Pisces, means the fishes, the amphibians, the reptiles, then aves and mammals and other animals which belongs to the subphylums of Chordata like Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Okay. So let us begin with discuss with the general characters or the most important characters of the phylum Chordata. It means the unique features which is found in non-chordates. Non-chordates means the previous phylums, what we have studied. So they all comes under the non-chordates. So let us see the unique features of the phylum Chordata. Okay. So the phylum Chordata is majorly characterized by the presence of, I am telling about the unique features of the phylum Chordata. It is majorly characterized by the presence of notochord. It is majorly characterized by the presence of notochord. Okay. See, notochord is nothing but it is a flexible rod-like found in all chordates. It's a flexible rod-like structures found in all chordates, just above the abdomen, and below the nerve cord, and it is made up of highly vacuolated cells. Okay, so that is about the notochord. So notochord, the presence of notochord is a characteristic feature of all chordates. See, the chordates, they possess a notochord in any one of the stages during their life cycle. So whatever it may be the animal that belongs to the chordata, in any one of the stage during their life cycle, all animals, they possess a notochord. All chordates, especially the chordates, the animals which belongs to chordates, they possess a notochord. Okay, and it is one of the fundamental character of all chordates, the presence of notochord in any one of the stage during their life cycle. See, all chordates, though they are morphologically, they are not resembling each other, but they have some fundamental characters which resembles the other animals. Suppose we human beings, we are not resembling the other animals, and similarly the other animals which comes under the chordata, they are not resembling the human beings, isn't it? But we have some fundamental character, though there is no morphological resemblances among the organisms which comes under the chordata, but we have some resemblances. So it may be the anatomical features or the development of the embryo, that is in embryological development. So where some of the common characters we share with the other animals which comes under the phylum Chordata. So under that, the first one is the presence of notochord. So that is a major one. So what is a notochord? A notochord is nothing but it's a flexible rod-like structure. It is found above the abdomen and below the nerve cord. It is found above the abdomen region and it is found below the nerve cord, and it is made up of highly vacuolated cells. It is a flexible rod-like structure, usually found in embryonic stages of some of the chordates, okay, or in some of the chordates where the notochord is restricted to the larval form, so where it is absent in the forms like the adults, okay. But however, in the life cycle of the chordates, during their lifespan, in any one of the stage, the chordate, they possess a notochord. So that is one of the characteristic feature of the chordate, the presence of notochord. Okay. So what happens in case of the subphylum vertebrata? The notochord is replaced by the vertebral column. Either it is made up of bony or it is cartilaginous vertebral column is found in the subphylum vertebrata. But in the other two phylums, the other two subphylums like Urochordata and Cephalochordata, so where notochord is present. But in phylum vertebrata, the notochord is gradually replaced by the vertebral column. Either it is made up of cartilage or it is made up of bone. But however, even the vertebrates also, they show notochord in some of their life cycle. Okay, in some stages during their life cycle. So the presence of notochord, that is a characteristic feature of all chordates. So this is one of the fundamental and unique property of chordates. Okay. So then the next thing is about the presence of the other property of chordates, like presence of hollow tubular nerve cord. Presence of hollow tubular nerve cord. So this is also one of the fundamental property or one of the characteristic feature of the phylum Chordata, that is the presence of hollow tubular nerve cord. Okay. So the hollow tubular nerve cord, where in some of the chordates, it expands anteriorly. In some of the chordates, the hollow tubular nerve cord expands anteriorly into brain. It expands anteriorly into brain, and posteriorly it extends as spinal cord. Posteriorly it extends as spinal cord. So the presence of nerve cord, it is the most unique feature or the fundamental property of the chordate. The nerve cord, it is nothing but the tubular nerves, they run throughout the length of the body. They are found in almost every part of the body. So that is the most fundamental property of the chordates. Presence of the tubular nerve cord, it is hollow in nature. The hollow tubular nerve cord is present that runs throughout the length of the body. And in some chordates, especially in case of the phylum vertebrata, so the subphylum vertebrata, so where it expands anteriorly as brain. The nerve cord that expands anteriorly as brain and posteriorly it runs as a spinal cord. Okay. So this feature is unique for all chordates. All chordates, they exhibit the tubular hollow nerve cord. So that is the second and fundamental property of all chordates. Okay. Then the third property of chordates is the presence of post-anal tail. The presence of post-anal tail. Okay. So chordates are characterized by the presence of post-anal tail. It is not found in anywhere in other animals. Okay. It is found, the post-anal tail is found only in the chordates. So where the last vertebrae or the last bone that extends as a tail and that goes beyond the anus. Okay, there is an extension of the last vertebrae or the presence of a tail, that is the characteristic feature of the chordates. So that goes beyond the anus. That's why it is said to be post-anal, means after the anus. There is an extension, and that is what is called as the tail. Suppose if it comes to human beings, where the tail is reduced or it is absent in human beings, it is where the tailbone in human beings, it is rudimentary. Okay, though it is present, but it is non-functional and it is rudimentary. It is not expanded. But whereas in other animals, so where they exhibit a very prominent tail, a post-anal tail, it means after the anus there is a tail is present. So that is one of the most characteristic feature or fundamental property of the phylum Chordata. That is the presence of post-anal tail. Okay. So these major features of the chordates, like the presence of notochord, the presence of tubular hollow nerve cord, and the presence of post-anal tail. So that is the unique features of chordates. And also the chordates exhibit ventral heart. Heart is ventral in position. Okay. So where heart lies in ventral position to abdomen or alimentary canal, not the abdomen, it is alimentary canal. It lies ventral to alimentary canal. The presence of ventral heart, that is also one of the unique features of the chordate. So where the heart lies ventral part, or it is found in the ventral part of the alimentary canal. Okay. Okay. So that is also one of the unique feature of the phylum Chordata, that is the presence of ventral heart. It means it is ventral to the alimentary canal, and also the blood in chordates, it is colored, that is because of the presence of the pigment. So where they exhibit RBCs, that is nothing but the red blood corpuscles, and they consist of the pigment what is called as hemoglobin. They exhibit the pigment what is called as hemoglobin. Okay, so that is the next property of the phylum Chordata. And the next thing is about they exhibit closed circulatory system. Closed circulatory system. See, in all chordates, the circulatory system is said to be closed. Closed means the blood is flowing within the blood vessel. It is not flowing in the sinuses, just like in the other animals belongs to the non-chordata. But here in chordates, where the blood is flowing within the blood vessel, there is a specific pathway for the flow of the blood where they are having the heart, and heart is pumping the blood, and blood is moving within the blood vessels. So that is such a type of circulatory system is what is called as closed type of circulation. So that is the another property or unique feature of the phylum Chordata. Okay. Then the next thing or the next property of the phylum Chordata is the presence of another most important one, the presence of pharyngeal gill slits. The presence of pharyngeal gill slits. The presence of pharyngeal gill slits. So this is one of the unique feature of the phylum Chordata, the presence of pharyngeal. The presence of pharyngeal gill slits. So that is one of the fundamental or unique property of the phylum Chordata. So where the gill slits are, they are also known as visceral slits. Gill slits, they are also called as visceral slits. So that is the unique property. So where during some stages of their life cycle, so every chordate that is showing the pharyngeal gill slits, the presence of pharyngeal gill slits, so that is a fundamental or the unique property of the chordates. During their lifespan, in one of the stages, in any one of the stages, they are showing the slits during their pharyngeal region. Okay. So in the early embryonic stages of the development, so where there is no respiratory organ that was not developed at that time, they exhibit the embryos, especially the embryos, they exhibit that slits are the opening in the pharyngeal region, in this region. Okay. So where that is what is called as the pharyngeal gill slits. So that is usually found in the embryonic stages of their development. So that is also one of the unique feature. It means all animals which comes under chordata, they are related to one another by bearing some of the characters. Okay. So one or more characters which are related to each other, which are similar to each other. Okay. Then the other characters of the chordata, which is similar with the non-chordates, like the presence of triploblastic body. The other chordates, other common chordates, like the presence of triploblastic body, and the presence of the other elements like these chordates are eucoelomates. It means there is a presence of true coelom. The chordates are eucoelomate in nature. The presence of triploblastic body and other features which are common. Okay, but there are some special features, the presence of the notochord and the presence of the dorsal tubular nerve cord and the presence of the ventral heart, the closed circulatory system, and the presence of pharyngeal gill slits, then the triploblastic nature, then eucoelomate, and they exhibit the segmentation or metamerism. They exhibit metamerism or segmentation. So that is also one of the unique feature of the chordates. Okay, so which are common with other non-chordates also. They share some common characters like triploblastic body, eucoelomates, means the presence of true body cavity, having complete digestive system. So where the animals which comes under the chordata, so the adult animals, they show different respiratory structures like the gills or the lungs. Okay, so all these characters, some which are found in the non-chordates also, and which are found in the chordate animals also. Okay, but I said, the most important and key character of the phylum Chordata, the presence of notochord, presence of dorsal tubular nerve cord, then pharyngeal gill slits, post-anal tail, and ventral heart, and closed type of circulation with the colored blood, means found presence of RBC. So that is the unique features of the phylum Chordata. Okay. So the phylum Chordata, it is majorly divided into three subphylums. Okay. The phylum Chordata is divided into three subphylums like phylum Urochordata, and the subphylum Cephalochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, and the subphylum Vertebrata. The phylum Chordata is divided into three subphylums. These are the three subphylums. Like Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Okay. So let us look into individual one. The subphylum Urochordata. So where they were commonly called as tunicates. So they are the smaller animals which comes under the phylum Chordata. So the subphylum Urochordata is also called as, they were commonly called as tunicates, because they were where the animal body is covered by or enveloped by a covering, that is what is called as a tunica. So because of the presence of the tunica, the animals, it means a covering found around the animal body, that is what is called as a tunica. Because of this presence of tunica, the subphylum Urochordata is what is called as the tunicates. Okay. See here, the notochord is present. The notochord is present in case of the subphylum Urochordata. The notochord is present only in the tail part of the larva. The notochord is present only in the tail part of larva. And the larval tail part alli matra notochord ide. The adult animals of this subphylum, they lack the notochord. So hence they are showing retrogressive evolution. It is not the progressive. Progressive means where it is showing the progressiveness or the development towards the development. But the subphylum Urochordata, the animals in this subphylum, they are showing retrogressive evolution. So how? Where the notochord is found only in the larval form, that is in the tail part of the larva, but the adult forms where they lack the notochord, hence they are showing retrogressive evolution. Okay, so the notochord is restricted to the tail part of the larva. It is restricted, and even in larva also it is not extended throughout the length of the body. Here the notochord is restricted to the tail part of the larva, but adults are lacking the notochord, hence they are showing the retrogressive evolution. So example, the tunicates. The animals like the tunicates, which comes under the subphylum Urochordata. Okay. Then the next one is the subphylum Cephalochordata. See here, the animals which comes under the subphylum Cephalochordata, they possess a notochord. They possess the notochord. That runs throughout the length of the body. There is a presence of notochord even in adults also, and the notochord that runs throughout the length of the body, just like this. The notochord is found, and that notochord is running throughout the length of the body, and that is extending beyond the anterior region, and that is extending beyond the nerve cord. The notochord found here in these members, and that notochord is extending beyond the nerve cord. Andre even nerve cord gittanu mundukke enagide notochord extend agide. Adike cephalochordata anta heliradi. Cephalo means head, andre anterior region. The notochord is extending beyond the anterior region, extending beyond the nerve cord. Hence the name given what is called as cephalochordata. In these members, the notochord is found in the adults also, where the notochord extends beyond the nerve cord or extends beyond the anterior region of the body. Hence the name what is called as cephalo. Cephalo means head. Then chordata means the notochord. So where it is extending beyond the nerve cord or extending beyond the anterior region. Hence the name what is given as cephalochordata. Okay. And the example is Amphioxus. The example for this one is Amphioxus. Okay, so this is also known as lancelet animal. Okay, so Amphioxus is also known as lancelet animal. So where the notochord is extending beyond the anterior region of the body, hence the name given what is called as cephalochordata. Remember, the Urochordata animals where notochord is restricted to the larval form only. That too, in larva, the tail part of the larva that consists of the notochord. But the notochord is absent in the adults. That's why they are showing the retrogressive evolution. But whereas in case of cephalochordata, So where the notochord is found throughout the length of the body, even in the adults. The adults are also showing the notochord, but that notochord is extending beyond the head portion or at the anterior region of the body. So hence they were named as cephalochordata. So for example, like Amphioxus or lancelet animal. Okay, so this is about the second subphylum, Cephalochordata. So then the next subphylum is Vertebrata. So let us discuss subphylum Vertebrata in detail. Okay, so then the next topic is the subphylum Vertebrata. The subphylum Vertebrata. See, the animals which comes under the subphylum Vertebrata, so where in these animals, the notochord is replaced by, in adults, the notochord is replaced by vertebral column. The notochord is replaced by vertebral column. The notochord is replaced by vertebral column. So that is one of the most important character of the subphylum Vertebrata. The presence of, as the name itself indicates, the presence of vertebral column. So where the notochord is replaced by vertebral column, and this vertebral column either it is made up of bones, whether the vertebral column is bony or it is made up of cartilage. The vertebral column either it is made up of bones or either it is made up of cartilage. So that is one of the fundamental property of the phylum, the subphylum Vertebrata. Okay, and the presence of other characters like which is common to character like the presence of post-anal tail, and whereas the nerve cord, the presence of dorsal tubular nerve cord. As I said earlier, the anterior part of the nerve cord that expands as brain. The anterior region of the nerve cord that expands as brain, whereas the posterior region of the nerve cord, the posterior region that continues as the spinal cord. The posterior region that enters as the spinal cord, they have a dorsal tubular nerve cord that expands anteriorly into brain and posteriorly that runs as the spinal cord. Okay, so that is the next property of the subphylum Vertebrata. Okay, so where in this, where the brain is enclosed in cranium. The brain is enclosed in cranium. It means the brain sac or the brain pouch or the brain box. That is nothing but the cranium, brain box, where within that box the brain is found. Hence, the brain is enclosed in cranium. For example, skull anta heltivalla adu, where brain is enclosed inside the skull, Similarly, that is what is called as the cranium. That is nothing but the brain box. So, where the brain is situated or brain is enclosed. Hence, Vertebrata can be also named as craniata. It can be also named as craniata. That is why, because of the presence of brain inside the cranium. Hence, they can be also termed as craniata. Okay. Then, the next features like heart is ventral in position. So that is also one of the unique feature. Heart is ventral in position. So then the blood is colored with RBC. So these are some common characters of the vertebrates. Okay. So the major thing is notochord is replaced by vertebral column. So either the vertebral column, either it is bony or it is cartilage. So that is the most important character. And another thing, the nerve cord anteriorly that expands as brain, and whereas posteriorly it continues as the spinal cord. And most important thing is brain is enclosed in cranium or brain box. So that is the unique feature of the phylum, the subphylum Vertebrata. But other characters which is similar to the chordates, and also like the presence of diaphragm. That is also one of the common character. Okay, especially that seen in some advanced animals like the mammals. Okay. So this is about the characters of the subphylum Vertebrata. Okay. See, the subphylum Vertebrata is divided into the two divisions. One is Agnatha. The subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions, two major divisions, like the division 1, that is Agnatha, and the other division like the division 2, Gnathostomata. The subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions. So one division is Agnatha, and the other division is Gnathostomata. Okay. The division Agnatha, this is also called as Monorhina. This is also called as Monorhina, and the Gnathostomata is also called as Amphiorhina. Amphiorhina. Okay, what is this? Agnatha and Gnathostomata. See, Agnatha or Gnathostomata, they are nothing but jawless animals. Jawless. Where the mouth of these animals, which not consists of the jaw. Here the jaw is absent. They are the jawless animals. Jaw illeranta animals. Okay, so mouth not possessing the buccal cavity or the oral cavity, which is not supported by or which is not protected by or not supported by the jaw. Hence these animals, Gnatha, A means absent, Gnatha means jaw. So they are said to be the jawless animals. Okay, and Monorhina means they have single nostrils. They have mono means single nostril. Presence of single nostril, so that is also one of the feature of the subphylum Agnatha or Monorhina or jawless animals. Okay, so where the mouth is not supported by jaw, hence they are said to be Agnatha. A means absent. Okay, so they are the jawless fishes. For example, like lampreys. So they are the example for the Agnatha or the jawless fishes or the Monorhina having single nostril. Okay. Then the other one, Gnathostomata. Gnathostomata is also known as Amphiorhina. So where they are nothing but the jawed animals. There is a presence of jaw. Here mouth is supported by jaw or the oral cavity is supported by jaw. There is a presence of jaw. Hence they are said to be Gnathostomata. Gnatho means here the jaw. Okay. Okay. So the Gnathostomata or Amphiorhina, they are nothing but the jawed vertebrates. It means the mouth is supported by the jaw. And the name Amphiorhina, that majorly due to the presence of two nostrils. That is majorly due to the presence of two nostrils. Hence they were named as Amphiorhina. So the subphylum Vertebrata, there are three subphylums in the phylum Chordata. It is divided into Urochordata, Cephalochordata and the Vertebrata. So I explained the characters of Urochordata. So where the notochord is restricted to the larval form only, that too in tail form or tail part of the larva. Adults are lacking the notochord, whereas in Urochords, the Cephalochordata, notochord is found even in the adults and extends beyond the anterior region or the nerve cord. Hence the name Cephalochordata. And the Vertebrata, that is the dominant and the major subphylum in the phylum Chordata, and showing majority of the animals and showing most advanced characters like the presence of closed circulatory system and the presence of vertebral column, where it is replaced by notochord is replaced by vertebral column made up of bones or the cartilage, and that is a major thing. Presence of ventral heart, so that is also one important feature. Presence of post-anal tail, and another thing, the urinogenital system. Urinogenital system means the urinary system and the genital system, or the excretory system and the genital system. So they are showing together, they are found together. Hence it is what is called as urinogenital system. So that is also one of the important character of the subphylum Vertebrata. And as I said, the subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions. One is Agnatha, means jawless animals. They were also called as Monorhina. Examples, as I said, lampreys and hagfishes. And whereas the other division, Gnathostomata or it is also known as Amphiorhina, so they are nothing but the jawed vertebrates. Means the mouth is supported by the jaw. So they have two nostrils. Okay. So hence they were named as Amphiorhina. Okay. So the division Gnathostomata or Amphiorhina can be divided into the two superclasses. The two superclasses like the Gnathostomata or Amphiorhina is divided into two superclasses. Like the superclass Pisces, and the next one is Tetrapoda. The superclass Pisces and the next group is Tetrapoda. Okay, Tetrapoda means the animals which are possessing four limbs. Okay, the presence of or two pairs of limbs, like forelimb and the hind limb. So they are what is known as Tetrapoda. Tetra means four. Okay, so poda means the limbs. Then the Gnathostomata is divided into the another superclass what is called as the Pisces. The tetrapoda, the superclass tetrapoda, that includes the subclasses like the amphibia, then reptilia, aves and mammals. Amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals, they comes under tetrapoda. The Pisces, that includes all fishes. Okay, so let us discuss about the most important, and it will be asked for 5 marks many times in examination repeatedly, that is about in the Pisces, where the differences between the cartilaginous fishes and the bony fishes. So that has asked many times in the examination for 5 marks. Okay, so you know that Pisces are exclusively, they are aquatic in nature. Exclusively they are aquatic. They are found both in the freshwater forms as well as the marine water forms. Okay, they are found both in freshwater as well as in marine forms. Hence they are exclusively marine. And we can see two kinds of Pisces. Pisces are nothing but the fishes. They are nothing but the fishes. We can find two kinds of fishes like bony fishes and the cartilaginous fishes. It means some of the fishes they are having bones in their vertebral column, and some fishes they are having cartilage in their vertebral column. And hence based on that, whether they are having the bones or whether they are having the cartilage, fishes can be, or the superclass Pisces can be divided into the two groups like the chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Ichthyes means fish. Chondric means that refers to the cartilage, and whereas the ostia means the bone, which refers to the bony fishes. It means two groups can be seen in the class Pisces. One is the cartilaginous fishes and another one is the bony fishes. So the difference between them, it will be asked for 5 marks. It has asked for 5 marks many times in the examination. Okay, so let us discuss about the differences between the two groups of the fishes. Like, let us discuss about the differences between them, the chondrichthyes and the osteichthyes. Okay, the first group is chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Okay, so there are two groups can be seen in fishes. One is cartilaginous fishes, another one is bony fishes. Here chondrichthyes, that refers to the cartilaginous fishes. Cartilaginous fishes. Okay, whereas osteichthyes, it refers to the bony fishes. It refers to the bony fishes. So let us look into the characters of the individual group, the chondrichthyes and the osteichthyes. Here, the vertebral column, where it is majorly made up of cartilage. These are cartilaginous fishes. It is majorly made up of cartilage. Here in osteichthyes, ostia, that refers to bone. Okay, here is osteichthyes, where the vertebral column, it is majorly made up of bones. It is majorly composed of the bones. Okay. Then the next point about the chondrichthyes is, here the scales are embedded. You know the character of a fish, the presence of scales on the surface of the body, isn't it? The hurupe anta karitivalla ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು. So the scales are embedded in the skin. The scales are embedded. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, scales embedded ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ, suppose if we touch the fish, we are not examine the scales. Andre now scales na touch madidru we not feel the scales, because the scales are embedded inside the skin. Hence scales are embedded, and the scales types are said to be placoid scales, can be seen here. Placoid scales can be seen here. Placoid scale means the scales are plate like. Andre plate tara iranta scales irutte, and scales are embedded, and the scales are placoid scales can be seen in the cartilaginous fishes. Okay, and whereas here in bony fishes, scales are not embedded. They are found on the surface. Scales are found on the surface. Found on the surface. They are not embedded. Illi surface melene irutte scales. So scales are found on the surface. They are not embedded. They may be cycloid. The scales may be cycloid, or they may be ctenoid. Cycloid or ctenoid scales are present. It means like this. In a circular manner, the scales are present, or it means the scales are like this. Okay, so there may be cycloid scales or there may be ctenoid scales are present, but they are not. They are found on the surface. They are not embedded one. But whereas in case of cartilaginous fishes, the chondrichthyes, where scales are embedded, and where they are, that is what is called as the placoid scales. Okay, then the next point about the cartilaginous fishes or the chondric thighs is mouth and nostrils. Mouth and nostrils. Mouth and nostrils are ventral in position. Mouth and nostrils are ventral in position. So where the mouth as well as the nostrils which is found at the ventral position. Suppose if you see shark, where it exhibits like this. The fish, the shark is like, it will be like this. Where it possessing the mouth as well as the nostrils on the ventral side. The body ventral side alli mouth matte nostrils irutte. Here, in case of these fishes, the bony fishes, where mouth and nostrils are terminal in position. Mouth and nostrils are terminal in position. Terminal in position. Okay. So for example, like this. This is a fish where mouth and nostrils which are found at the terminal end. Terminal end alli idre. So yadralli bony fishes alli mouth and nostrils terminal end alli irutte. Whereas in case of the cartilaginous fishes, the mouth and the nostrils they are found at the ventral region. Okay. Then the next character about the chondric thighs. Here in case of chondric thighs, where the presence of 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits. Presence of 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits. Presence of 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits, and the gill slits are naked. It means it is not covered by operculum. Andre ಒಂದು ಶೀತ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ gill slits na. But ಇಲ್ಲಿ cartilaginous fishes ಅಲ್ಲಿ there are 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits can be seen, but the gill slits are naked. They are not covered by operculum. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ gill slits ಸುತ್ತ ಒಂದು ಶೀತ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಕವರಿಂಗ್, ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕವರಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಶೀತ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. Hence the gill slits are naked. But whereas in case of the osteichthyes, the bony fishes, 4 pairs of gill slits are present. The number of gill slits will be the 4 pairs. Okay. Whereas in chondric thighs it will be 5 to 7 pairs. Here it is 4 pairs of gill slits are present. Gills are covered by operculum. Covered by a protective covering, that is what is called as the operculum. The gills are provided by the operculum. It means they are covered by operculum, a protective covering, that is what is called as the operculum. Okay. Then the next point is about the alimentary canal, where these animals they possess the cloacal aperture. It means the alimentary canal that terminated as or it ends as a cloacal aperture. It means it can act as a both the copulatory region and also act as the elimination of the excretory matter. Andre for mating or copulation also this is a common opening, and also for the excretion of the waste material, the like nitrogenous waste material and also the excretory material, that takes place through this opening only. Hence the digestive system that where it ends as a cloacal aperture. But here in case of osteichthyes, where the digestive system that ends as anus. The digestive system here it is that ends as the anus. Okay. Then the next property or the character of chondric thighs is males are provided with claspers. Males are provided with claspers. Claspers are nothing but the copulatory organ found in males. Males are provided with claspers. But whereas here in case of osteichthyes or bony fishes, males are not provided with the claspers. Claspers are absent. Or males are not provided with the claspers. Means the copulatory organ. Copulatory organ andre that is nothing but an organ meant for the transfer of gametes to female body. This is an organ produced in male. It is meant for the transfer of gametes to female reproductive system. Okay, see female reproductive part. That is what is called as a copulatory organ. Such copulatory organ which is absent in case of osteichthyes. Males are not provided with the claspers. Okay. Then The next property here, as males are provided with the claspers, in case of the chondrichthyes, we can see internal fertilization. As the gametes are transferred to the female body, hence we can see the fertilization is internal, and the fusion of gametes that takes place within the body of the female. But whereas in case of the osteichthyes, fertilization is said to be external, whereas yake copulatory organ illde irodrinda internal fertilization, and here we can see external fertilization, internal and the external fertilization. Illi copulatory organ illde irodrinda gametes are released to water, where fertilization of gametes means fusion of gametes takes place in water body. Here, as the males are provided with the claspers, they transfer the gametes to the female body. Okay. So hence in cartilaginous fishes or in chondrichthyes, the internal fertilization can be seen. Here it is external fertilization. Then the caudal fin means the terminal fin. The caudal fin is heterocercal in nature. The caudal fin is heterocercal in nature. It means it is showing two unequal lobes, where the vertebral column that extends to one of the lobe, like this. Okay, the caudal fin is heterocercal in nature, where the vertebral column that bends and extends to one of the lobe. Means two unequal lobes are present. One of the lobe is larger and the another lobe is very small. The vertebral column that bends and extends to the larger lobe. Hence, the caudal fin is said to be the heterocercal. That is one of the important things. Here, the caudal fin is said to be homocercal. The caudal fin is said to be homocercal in nature. It means where the caudal fin that produces two equal lobes. Two equal lobes can be seen in the caudal fin. Okay, like this. Two equal lobes can be seen. But here, in case of the osteichthyes or the cartilaginous fishes, the caudal fin is heterocercal in nature. Here it is homocercal in nature. It means produces two equal lobes. ಎರಡು lobes equal ಆಗಿ formation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay. Then the example for chondrichthyes means the cartilaginous fishes is, the example is shark and skates. Shark and skates. Okay, so this is the example, shark and skates. Similarly, here in case of the bony fishes or in case of the osteichthyes, the example is rohu, katla, rohu, katla, then mackerel, rohu, katla, mackerel, then seahorse, etc. Okay, so these are some of the example for the bony fishes. Okay, and shark and skates are the examples for cartilaginous fishes. And another thing, the cartilaginous fishes are exclusively marine. Exclusively they are marine. Cartilaginous fishes are exclusively marine forms, whereas the bony fishes are both the marine as well as freshwater forms. Both the marine as well as freshwater forms. Okay, so this is about the differences between the cartilaginous fishes or the chondrichthyes and the osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes are nothing but the cartilaginous fishes, whereas osteichthyes are nothing but the bony fishes. Okay, so in next video we will discuss about the tetrapoda. Tetrapoda is nothing but the amphibia, then reptilia, apes and mammals. Okay, thank you.